Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Warrior. My name is Jason, and today we're going to be looking at the 2 to 4 player card game Knarr, published by Pandasaurus Games, designed by Thomas DuPont, with art by Antoine Carrion. All right, let me tell you a little story. A few months ago, I got an email in my inbox from Pandasaurus Games, and they said, "Hey, I've got this Viking-themed card game. Would you like to pre-order it for 30 bucks?" I didn't even think. I just had one of those days. I said yes, I pulled the trigger, and a couple months later, the game showed up. I sat down with my beautiful wife, Jenny, and we read the rules, and we learned how to play it just like that. It was just like that. And since then, I've taken it to 2 different game groups with 2 different game nights. And let me give you a little bit of a spoiler. Both groups had people in it that tried to buy it immediately. They liked it so much. Now, right now, it is impossible to get except through maybe eBay or through a pre-order system. I know Miniature Market has it on pre-order, and so does the Pandasaurus website. So, what are we going to do now? Let's go to the table and take a look at how this puppy plays. Knarr is a simple card game. I don't know how to describe the mechanics, so what I'm going to do instead is just show them to you. All right, so here we see a full setup. What we have here in the middle is the board. This is the scoring that goes all the way around, and it also has these reputation markers. I'll explain those in a second. At the top, we have these destination cards, and they are called the trading lands and the lands of influence. I don't ever remember those names, doesn't really matter. Here's your player board. Each person has a player board. I have a black and a white here, but there's other colors for the other 2 players. Each player starts with 2 cards in play. These are your cards in play. You also start with your boat, and there are 2 sides to the boat. The other side has some different powers, but this is the basic side here. And you start with 1 bracelet and 1 recruit token. And so these tokens are pretty neat. The recruit token lets you, they're like a wild. You could use that to play, to buy any other product you need up here in the land destinations in case you're missing the actual card. So it's kind of like something to use to buy. And you have this one over here. Oops, we might be missing one. And the bracelets let you activate a special power that I'll explain in a second. It's really simple. So there's only 2 things you can do in this game. Only 2 things. Oh, and by the way, you start with 3 cards. Everybody starts with 3 cards in your hand. And you will always have 3 cards in your hand. If at any point you look down and you realize you only have 2 or 1, you have messed up. And let me show you the basic 2 parts of the game. It's very simple. You can play a card from your hand, or you can buy a destination. That's it. That's as simple as this gets. Now there's some little tricks, so let's show you one. Here is the white player's hand, okay? I just did this randomly. And you can see he's already got a red card in and a yellow card in. And this is how it works. So this is the tricky, cool part. When you play a card, you would take one. Let's take this one, and it has a bracelet at the top. And you place it right on top of the other red card that you've already played. If it was like this purple card, then you play it to the side because there are no other purples. Now here's the fun part, and this is a little bit, some people say, like Splendor, is that once you play that, you then get the powers of both of the cards. So in other words, I would get 2 bracelets, okay? Now you can only have 3 at the max, and I'll tell you what those bracelets do in a second, but that's how you do that. Then you immediately, now I'm down to 2 cards, right? You immediately, if it's red, you go onto this chart here and you pick up the card under the red banner. So in this case, it would be the blue card. That would go into my hand and you would flip the next card, which happens to be a yellow card with a bracelet. Make sense? Now, that's just as simple as it can be. Let's do an example for you over here with the other player, so that you can see it. This player, the black player, has red, blue, and purple. And let's do blue, just for a difference, okay? So this person is going to put the blue card in play. There's no other blue card, so he doesn't score any multi-powers. But what he does do is get the power up there. And that power, you'll get to know that really easily. Let's get close for it, is the symbol for points. So as soon as you put that in play, boom, the black player moves up one on the scoring. Okay? Now, he also, or she, depending, is blue, right? So it takes the blue card and it takes that card. Okay? And now that player has 3 cards. So let's just keep going for a second, and we'll only use one player. Over here, you have the 3 cards. So let's play the red. That's our turn. We play the red card. You don't have to pay any costs. You just put the card in play. You would get 2 bracelets, but because you already have 3, you can't get more. And more importantly, though, you would score 1 reputation. So boom, the white player goes up on the reputation track. So why is the reputation track important? It's kind of this cool little design feature to the side of the whole game. You don't have to get reputation points, but if you do, once you hit this mark, the 3rd one, you hit the 1 part and at the 1 number, and at the beginning of your turn, you just get a point. Okay? So every turn, you just get a point. If you can get it up to the 2 mark, boom, you get 2 points. 3, I've seen people get it all the way up to the 5, and they usually win the game when they do that. So it's this other methodology of scoring points, which is pretty cool. Okay? Now we put the red. Oh, when you take a card, you have to immediately fill it. That usually gets forgotten. So we played a red card here, right? Then we're going to pick up the yellow. Okay? And then it keeps going, and it keeps going. And what you're doing, and the experience you're having, is generating this engine. And that's the fun part. This is the experience you'll get from Knarr. It's so simple, but you generate this monster engine. And the more red cards you put there, every time you play a red card, you get to score them all. And it's really, really fun. You build this tableau out. Now, there's a basic design decision that they did in the game, Mr. Thomas DuPont did, that is brilliant. It is brilliant. So to buy your cards, your destination cards, right? And let's look at some of these cards. These are the smaller ones. That's 2 purple. Can you see that? This one is 2 yellow. If we can get that right up there for you, right? This one's 2 red, and so forth. The upper row is the more powerful cards. And there you got 3 purple and 2 red. Now remember, you can always use 1, 2, 3, up to 3 of these as randoms when buying this card. So if you had 2 reds, no, say you had 3 purple but no reds, you could use these 3 and buy the card. When you buy the destination card, you immediately get points, and then you add, in this case, that plus mark means you add a card from the deck into your tableau. Now, they all have different powers. This one gives you 5 points. Oops, camera moved a little. And a bracelet. This one gives you the recruitment piece, and so forth and so on. Now, here is the last piece of the puzzle. Oops, got a little bit of blur there. This is the last piece of the puzzle. You're asking yourself, if you've been following along, what are these bracelets for? So, when you buy one of these cards up here, say you buy that one, you put it in play in your tableau. Okay, but how do you buy it? You have to spend the cards you have here. So there goes 2 of your cards. Let's move this over. There go 2 of your cards in your engine. You have to spend them. They go to the discard pile. And in this example that we used before, we have 3 of these. Say we spend 3 of those, and then we buy this card. It gets us 8 points. Let me show you that. And another card, which you pull from the top of the deck, and you just put it into play. So you don't have to put it to your hand first. Sorry about the little blurry stuff. Here we go. So that's how you buy these cards. And you save up these cards to buy them. But you kind of kill your engine when you do it. So that's the fun technique here. I mean, that's the fun design element. You build this fun engine, but it's usually not enough to get you to win the game. You're going to have to buy some cards. You're going to have to buy the right ones at the right time and get the best benefits you can from them. Now there's one last piece, and I just alluded to it earlier, but I forgot to show you how to buy the cards up there. And that is, you'll see this card, let's get on there, has 3 columns. See the one to the left, the middle, and the right. Okay, all of these cards up here have these 3 columns. Okay, column to the left, middle, and right. All of them have it. In fact, if you look at your ship carefully that you started with, it too has one. Middle, no, left, middle, right. So how does that work? Every time you spend a bracelet at any time. It's a free action. You can cash in all of those cards. If you spend one bracelet, you charge only the left column. Now, obviously, in this case, why would you do that? Because you're not going to get anything. You wouldn't do it for that card, but you might do it for this card, right? Because the left column is a point. If you use two, then you get both columns. So this would score 2 points. No points here, right? Because the first and second columns are gone. And this one would get you a recruitment token. If you spend all three, boom, you would get all three. That's 3 points, a fourth point, and a recruitment token. So what does that mean? That means the more of these cards, these destinations you get, the more you can spend bracelets and just get all the points from all of them. And some of them have all sorts of different powers. This one gives you extra cards, and there's a whole bunch of different values in there, including getting recruitment tokens and bracelets. So it's got this wonderful push-pull technique, and I'll talk about that more back downstairs. All right, we are back. Wait a minute, I'm missing my hat. All right, buy, play, or avoid. That's what we're really looking at here in this video. So let's start with the components. What do I think about the components? Well, it's a little box. It's got some nice cards in it. They really seem to be made of decent material. It's got these little cardboard chits for the bracelets and for the recruitment, and wooden little meeples. What are you gonna say about something like that? It's decent. It's good. It's not supposed to be anything better than that, right? It's a $30 card game in a box. Good stuff. And now, what were my expectations going into this? What were my expectations? I had none. I just had none. I saw the little ad, said Viking card game. I'm all like, I'm in. Yeah, I'll do it. So I had no expectations. It's a little card game. Who knows? Remember my number one card game a few years ago, The Crew. I never would have guessed that this is that big, right? That game was going to be that big. Knarr is not going to be The Crew. I can tell you that right now. But, who knows? Big things come in little packages. Now let's talk about how easy it is to play. Very easy to play. Easy to teach, and the rule book is just fine. Perfect. Everything you need. A's across the board. The game is small, so that makes it easier, but everything is clear. You just can't ask for a better pull it out. You could take this game to your game night, open it up, and go, let's figure this out. And in 5 to 10 minutes at the most, you'll be playing, and you're off and running. But I hear you ask, is it tactical? Is it strategic? Can it cause you to think? Does it have layers? Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It has some really cool design decisions in it. I told you about the reputation, right? If you focus on reputation, you start generating points every round. If you build up your tableau and you get, like I had red cards once that was just getting me points, but then I stopped getting red cards and I was like stuck. My engine was great. And I realized I'd gone too far on that. I should have bought some cards up here. There's this wonderful dynamic push-pull system to it. Now, I've played with some people who are naturally good at it. I will also admit and confess unto you right now something horrible. I have never won the game, like 15 games. What's wrong? I never play a game 15 times that I can't win. But there's something about the way this thing is designed that it isn't working for me. I know that's going to affect my end score, and I'm warning you here, but I have friends who are good at it immediately, and they see it, and it works, and it clicks, and there's a vision that they have and a strategy and tactics that work. So it's got some really fun little things to it. I think it's very, very well designed for what it is. Which leads to the next question, the most important question. How replayable is it? Really, can you keep playing it? So far, it's so fun and easy. It's a let's pull it out before the rest of the crew gets here, or let's play after the big game. Let's get a couple hands in. So far, it's working perfect for that. For that frame of what you want out of this game, it's great. And so far, I just haven't gotten bored of it. I don't think it's going to be a game that's going to go into my top 50 2 or 3 years from now. It'll just drop out and we'll forget about it. But it's such a simple, easy game. And I have a couple friends the ones who wanted to buy it, Parker and Tom, because they know their kids were going to like it. They knew their family was going to like it. It was going to be an easy game to pull out and play and yet have enough depth to it that it's not like you're playing Uno. So replayability so far has been fine. There are some other additional things that we could do with the rules that are in the books that I haven't played yet. Maybe I'll dive into them soon because for what it's worth, I'm really happy with where it's at, but I probably could use a little bit more. And now, let's sum it up with the experience. What's the experience like? What are you going to get? What are you going to feel when you play this game? Playing the cards and generating the little system is really fun. I love generating engines. Is this an engine? Somewhat of a little bit of an engine, right? It's somewhat a little pick cards, so it's kind of a drafting thing, right? But you really have to decide this push-pull mechanic of build up that engine, which is so fun. I really love it. I am all over it. And then I got to spend that engine to get cards. That is a fun push-pull dynamic. It is well designed. I like the tightness of it. And then you have the reputation to the side, which allows you to build up an engine of points every round. And then the third thing is using those bracelets to clear up a whole bunch of points or extra special abilities from those 3 columns on each card. So it's really cool. And one of the things that you have to always balance is, even if you get a whole bunch of those cards, do you have a bracelet generator? Because once you spend them, they're gone. And so the decisions in the game so far have just been really fun. The experience of making those choices make this a winner for me. Even though I haven't won, I like making these choices. Now, before I give you my final ranking, I know the thing that you were looking forward to the most. I know. Let's talk about how you get it. It is not available right now. It came out with a little pre-order bunch, and now it's supposed to come out in February. I know, we're in the middle of February. So it should be soon. You can go to Miniature Market right now and pre-order it, and they say it's going to be here in February. Pandasaurus website has it. You probably find it somewhere else. If you want a copy right now, you might have to look on eBay. I didn't look for you. You're going to have to do that yourself. Anyways, now let's move on to the ranking. What am I going to give this? What's my ranking? I'm just funning with you. First of all, thanks for lasting this long into this video. It's just me talking. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I like board games, and I do like this game. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. Actually, if you think about it, it's really an 8. Now, why is it an 8? I'm using the Board Game Geek metrics, and they say, looking over here, that 7 is it's a good game, and you're usually willing to play. True, it's a 7. Very good is number 8, and it says, enjoy playing and would suggest it. I could give it an 8, but what I'm going to officially come down to is 7.5, and I'll tell you why. It is good, and right now, I enjoy playing it, and I would suggest it, given the parameters that I've already given you here. However, I don't know how long I'm going to suggest it. Right? I'm only 15 games in. Is this going to fade in a month? And it could. So I'm giving you that warning. It could fade in a month. So right now, 7.5. Well, thank you for spending time with me. It's been fun to make this video. I've had a little bit of some technical issues as we were doing it, but I solved them in the middle of it. So here we are at the end, and I'm going to offer you great thanks. And if you have any comments, tappa, get to it down in the comments below, and I will answer. I try to answer almost every single comment people make. And once again, good gaming. And what was the last thing that me and Jenny came up with? Oh, yeah, stay classy, San Diego. Name that movie. All right, I'll see you later.